Well, now that we've been exploring Google Maps, and I feel like I just took a European tour, wasn't that fun? There are so many things that we can do, not just on the computer, but Google Maps is also an app that's available for all of your smartphones, iPads, tablets, whatever it is that you have, the device that you're carrying, you will have Google Maps on it. And that's a great thing to have because it's one thing to be planning a trip and thinking about it while you're sitting at your desk or at home, but it's quite another thing when you're out and about and you need to find something quickly or make arrangements or even use it as a GPS. Nowadays, Google Maps has features that will substitute for your GPS. If you have one of those car GPSs, your phone is a perfectly good substitute. I do have one word of warning though. The one thing that's great about a car GPS is it is affixed or fastened to your windshield or something. You want to make sure that you're not driving and looking at your phone at the same time. Get it all set up in advance and then it can give you the turn-by-turn directions. But let's take a look at the Google Maps app that's available for all phones, whether they're iPhones, Android phones, Windows phones, whatever you have, there is a Google Maps app available. And the app looks like this. Oops. I'll just hit into our app. And this map should look familiar. It looks much like what we were looking at before. The one thing about a phone app is it will automatically show where you are instantly. Because your phone, in addition to having the actual app on it, is also equipped with a GPS device, meaning that the world knows where you are based on your phone. That's one thing a computer will not do. While we were fooling around with looking at London and such, the computer, quite frankly, had no idea if I was in London or if I was in New York. The phone knows exactly where I am, and if you look here, the little blinking dot will show exactly where we are. That in itself is a fantastic thing. I don't know if you've ever been lost and have no idea where you are. You could look at your phone and know exactly where you are. If you didn't know where you parked your car, etc., that alone is a great thing. The other thing that a phone will do that your computer probably will not is you can search with a voice command. So for example, in order to search, I'm going to click here where it has a little magnifying glass. And I can type in where I want to go, or I can hit the little microphone. I think we're going to go shopping. Roosevelt Field Mall. There we go. They're bringing us right over to Roosevelt Field Mall. I didn't have to do all that typing or anything. Now, if I were shopping, I would love to have a map like this because not only can I see the outside of the mall, but if you look as I zoomed in, you actually get a mall guide. It shows where all the stores are. If you see over here, we have basement, first floor, second floor. Right now they're showing me the second floor of the mall. I could hit first floor, and now I have completely different stores. Well, I don't know about you, but if I'm at the mall, I can never find one of those directories that they show to see where all the different stores and restaurants are. So something like this is terrific. Google has been mapping indoor structures like shopping malls, airports, things like that, so that there are thousands of indoor structures that will now have a map like this. So that in itself is a great feature. So knowing where you are and being able to find your way around the mall or the airport. Let me zoom out a little bit. Just like before, this little balloon that says A is the last place I looked for, Roosevelt Field Mall. But I do have those options with traffic and such. Okay, and I do have an option of getting directions. So let's first look at our options with shopping and finding all the things that are nearby. We can see a street view. We could learn all about the mall and what times they're open and reviews and such. But if I wanted to get there, all I would have to do is click Get Directions. I can ask for directions via car. I could ask for bus directions. Let's see, any transit mode. Let's go for buses. From my location to Roosevelt Field. And they'll show me, here we go, not only what bus routes are going there, but what time the buses are going to be leaving. And they know what time it is right now, so they can tell me the best bus routes. Let's go backwards a bit. The map app doesn't even need you to tell exactly what you're looking for. You could actually just press and hold. So if I zoom in a little bit, here we go. And if I just press a particular location, they'll load the address. I can get a map or directions or anything right to that spot. Here's another one. Loading the address. If I click on Street View, you'll see exactly what the houses look like right there. Again, very convenient to make sure you're going to the right place or that you know where people are meeting you. You could look up, you can look down. So far we've looked at indoor views on maps. We've looked at how to get directions, whether they're driving directions or transit directions. If you look over here on this particular app, you'll see we have some choices. Like before, I have a traffic choice, and let's look. Lots of green, not too much traffic right now. But if I slide over here towards Manhattan, I'll see more traffic. If I click on this, I'll get a satellite view. The satellite view will show me a little more of what it really looks like. It's nighttime now, so we'll see that darkness. Just like before, we have transit lines. We'll see all of our subway and train lines. Every one of these blue dots is representing a train station. So if I wanted to see exactly when the train schedule was, all I would have to do is press on it. And there's all the trains and the buses and the times. Well, that's all real convenient to have with you. So without even thinking about it, you are carrying in your pocket all of the train schedules, the bus schedules, the subway maps, the bus maps, the traffic reports on whether or not you should take a particular route, a GPS so that you can find your way, and even maps of the insides of places, like the mall or the airport. I'm just going to use the same app on this now, just so we have a bigger view and we can look at some other things. Okay, so here's the Google Maps app on an iPad. It looks a lot like the app you just saw with all of the roads. On this particular one, we also have traffic. Let me zoom out a little bit so you could see all the traffic going on here. Like before, we also have transportation. So you can see all of the subway lines. In fact, let me take off the traffic. You could see the subway lines a little bit better. There we go. You're actually carrying around, that should look like a New York City subway map. And even better than a regular New York City subway map, we can see where all the stations are and get some information on them. Exactly how far they are from here, what they look like from the outside. So when we get to that subway station, we'll know exactly what it looks like. And if I go over to scheduled trains, like the Long Island Railroad, I'll even get exactly what time it's going to stop there. Here's one. Okay, so those are some of the things we can see. In addition to that, on an iPad or a phone, it will also go into a whole satellite view. Let me click over here. Oops. And put us into what they call Google Earth. Google Earth is related to Google Maps, but you'll actually get to see the things as they're happening. You'll see us on the Earth going right into New York. kind of like the astronauts landing. And here we are at a park, and I'm going to zoom in a little closer. You can even see who has swimming pools, if there's a parking spot available. Now, just like Google Maps, all of these pictures are not being taken 24 hours a day. But it is a good way to find out if your neighbors have a swimming pool or something else you might want to look at. But not only can you look at New York, but we can also look at national monuments. For example, if you've always wanted to be to Washington, D.C., I'm just going to Washington, D.C. Let's put that in. You'll see our map fly over. Now this one will look a little more exciting than Floral Park, I'm sure. But even better than before when we were taking a tour, here we are. And there's the National Mall, the Capitol, the White House, everything you might want to see while you're in Washington, D.C. Better than any travel book you can possibly find. Now let me go back to Google Maps just for a moment and point out some of the other things that you could do. While you're here in search, you could also find some restaurants, cafes, bars, whatever you're looking for. Even if all you're looking for is a pizzeria, they'll pop up with all the different places. You can save these so that you can have them later on and refer to them. You can even send a link from your Google Maps to somebody else so that if you're telling someone, meet me at a particular restaurant, it won't be a problem. So let's look over here, going back to where we are. In fact, I'm going to use this one just to give you a taste of both. I'm going to take us off of the satellite view and off of the transit view. There we go. And where are we now? Here's our little blinking arrow right there. And if I press this button, and I said I was looking for restaurants, here's a bunch of restaurants right nearby. If there was one I wanted to check out, I can find it right away. I can even see what the outside of the restaurant looks like. There it is. Knowing where I can meet up with people, and just by spinning it around, see what the entire terrain looks like. So with all of this, I'm hoping that you won't need a paper map anymore. A paper map is only going to tell you a particular thing, where the roads are, where the towns are. From what we looked at on Google Maps today, we could find out everything from where the traffic is, where the restaurants are, seeing a bird's eye view, maybe even spying on your neighbors to see if they put anything new in their backyards, or maybe that you need to put something in yours. You can tour the entire world right from your computer or from your smartphone, zooming over and seeing national monuments, forests, mountain ranges, all sorts of things. So I would tell you, get a spot of tea for yourself. Sit down and go to google.com/maps. And you could find out some stuff too. If you're looking for links to any of these places we visited today, just visit us at technicallyspeakingtv.com for links to these and any other episodes we've had. Thanks for joining us on our travel adventure.